amazing is that? Okay, time to let my hair down. We're live!
It happened. It worked.
Okay, it's the lip gloss moment, everybody. So for those on the replay, you're just going to have to put up with our sort of waiting for other people to join. But Michelle is my bestie, and it wasn't working at my house. And so she's like, well, let's just go to my house. And so we're at Michelle's house. Isn't she beautiful?
Oh, thank you, honey.
Okay, so
we have a mutual admiration thing going, and we feel like we look like sisters. We've been friends for how long?
Oh my gosh,
since our kids were
babies,
like babies or like preschool age or something.
Yeah, and it's definitely a past life thing because we both have a very strong Jesus connection.
We know we were nuns.
Yes,
in another life.
And she calls her the
BVM, the Blessed Virgin Mary or Mother. Yeah, BVM.
because Michelle was Catholic.
Yep.
In this life,
or
at least
earlier,
went to a Catholic school.
Went to Catholic school. Yeah.
And she has a positive experience with the BVM.
I do with everything.
Yeah.
I don't have that Catholic guilt that I had to get over.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're
of course I wanted to be a nun at one point in my young life.
Did you really?
I had a 5th grade teacher, Sister Rose Bernadette. No, Sister Ruth Ann. Rose Bernadette was 6th grade. Sister Ruth Ann was 5th grade. And I did catechism classes with her, and I just loved her.
Oh,
yeah, very nurturing. Yeah.
Very nurturing.
Very nurturing, which I needed.
You really needed that. And what is so ironic about Michelle, and I should have asked you this beforehand about how much personal information to share, but you'll know where I'm going with this. One of the things about the Queen of Clubs is that they're incredibly nurturing, they're highly intuitive, and they can anticipate your needs. And they're also very psychic, very sensitive, very attentive. And Michelle's mother was not like that. And she ended up like that. And I just got the chills all over. It's a divine thing.
I believe it was angelic influence. And maybe a little bit of my father, who I idolized and worshipped. And he was by no means perfect. I mean, he had his part to play in enabling unhealthy behaviors of my mom. But I do remember feeling loved by him. And then I really do believe that there was so much spiritual support and angelic support when I was growing up, because honestly, I don't know how I made it when I think back. And a lot of lack of memory of my childhood, like to an astonishing degree, like just little sketchy memories. And I've heard from several therapists that is not common. That is, most people do remember, maybe if not everything, you remember a lot, but that it's a sign of trauma.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I had trauma. And I saw this wonderful therapist for a number of years in Boulder. And he kept saying trauma. He kept referring to me as having had trauma. And I asked him at one point, Dan,
how long ago was that?
That was, it was before my daughter was born. I think it might have been right before I got pregnant with her, and she was born in 98. So we're talking like the mid 90s, maybe I was working with him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he opened me up and said, well, trauma simply is unresolved hyperarousal of the nervous system.
I love that.
It's just described my early life and something I've just, even though he said that then, I don't think it really sank in until very recently, when I've started to really explore the healing of my inner child and being, recovering from emotionally immature parents, which is a phrase that Gibson, her first name is Lindsay, Dr. Lindsay Gibson, who wrote the book, Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents, has been instrumental in helping me to start to tap in. And she uses that because the other word, the N word, it's just not narcissism or a narcissist.
Yes. Hi, Green Knight. He's our 5 of Spades. Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. We won't know if people are here unless they say something in the chat.
That's right. And the view count always lies.
It always lies. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So,
So little tagline there, when a queen of clubs gives you a book recommendation or tells you the name of their favorite butcher, pay attention. Because they're a Jupiter intersection, which means they're the archetypal networker. And they have access to so much being in the center of the spread right there. So yeah, I like, not only are all my favorite clothes from Michelle,
and my favorite earrings are from Paula.
I do make earrings.
Yeah, she makes earrings.
But yeah, when a queen of clubs tells you about something, it's because they have vetted a lot of things already. So anyway,
that's true.
yeah. So recovering from
from emotionally immature parents by Lindsay Gibson. And I finished reading that some time ago, and now I'm rereading The Drama of the Gifted Child.
Oh my
by
gosh.
Alice Miller, which is a classic. And if anyone is dealing with similar traumatic childhood with emotionally immature parent or parents, that would be a really good one.
Oh, that I've got.
And it's
that
a little.
one.
It's short. It's a quick.
Yeah, and go to Thrift Books. So there are 3 different ways that I am a queen of clubs through my composites and the hour I was born and some other stuff. It could be my ascending planetary ruler if Uranus ruled Leo, which it used to. So anyway, I do have some good recommendations too. But what was I just going to say? It was about, okay, so you discovered that you were a highly sensitive person, and HSP, it is a thing.
It's a real thing.
And it's really monumental, I think, when that you discovered it at all coming from your background. And for the Enneagram types, she's a 2. Very attentive, they like to touch you.
I'm always touching.
And I'm a 9, and I'm like, ew.
No, you're not. You're not that way, honey. Not with me, anyway.
Well, I don't reach out and touch other people.
Right.
And you do, and it's really nice. It's like,
do.
I want to feel you.
I want to feel you. I want you to know I'm really here. I'm really paying attention.
Oh,
and I have a daughter who didn't like that, and actually she spoke up when she was in high school, and she would just kind of recoil. And I was actually having lunch with my mother and her husband. That would be not my father.
So you have to tell birthdays.
Yes,
Claire and your mom.
Okay, so it says it in the title, but I'm September 12th, and my daughter is March 7th. So she is a
3 of spades.
And my mother is April 27th, and she is a Jack of.
April 23rd is the Jack of clubs. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 9, 8, 7 of clubs.
April 27th? 7?
Yeah. Okay. We need people to confirm that, but
maybe confirm that.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jack, 10, 9, 8, 7. 7 of clubs. Oh my gosh! I just had a whole full-on conversation with Mia about the Decan card, because that's her Decan card, and it is a struggle between power and victimhood.
What does Decan mean?
Oh, it's a long
astrological.
But it's how we relate to each other. It's like how the face that we put on. But anyway, that 7 of clubs is, so between victimhood and control. That your mom. And Claire, 3 of spades, planetary ruler, 7 of spades, because she's a Piscean. And so she didn't like the touch.
Right. So she would pull away. And my mom's husband, at this one lunch we had, he noticed that. And he said, "You don't like to be touched." And she said, "No." And he said, "Yeah, this one," and pointing to my mom, his wife, he said, "Yeah, this one is like that too. She doesn't get it." And what's different between my mom and I is, yes, my mom does. She is a bit of a toucher, which is interesting, but she doesn't, she's definitely not sensitive. She's definitely not an HSP. She doesn't get if someone does recoil. Whereas if I go like this and someone pulls away, I immediately withdraw and say, "Oh, I apologize." It's just my nature. And also I do massage, so I touch people all the time, and I have for decades. So
when did you discover you were an HSP?
Okay, so the HSP was, good question. Um, oh, that must have been, it must have been before my daughter was born, or maybe when she was very young, because I remember reading the book, um, Quiet. Okay, it's about introverts. Um, and I can't remember who wrote that. It was excellent. I did a lot of highlighting. And I read in that book going, I think I'm an introvert. And my whole life, except my very young life when I was very quiet. But as I got older, it was, I think, an overcompensation. It might have been the two. It might have been like, please like me, please notice me. So I'm going to go outside of my comfort zone and be happy and be friendly and be outgoing. But it was a push. It was not totally natural. And
That fits. We've never talked about
never
this,
talked
and
about this.
that fits with some little puzzle pieces I've been thinking about with you.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I read Quiet, I'm reading that book going, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I'm an introvert. And then I remember my dear bestie here, Paula, said, well, maybe I think you're an extroverted introvert. And then I learned when I joined, I think somehow highly sensitive came across my purview. I don't even remember how it came to me. Maybe it was a video popped up. It was God just like putting this in my face. And I took the test. You can go to hsperson.com and you can take the highly sensitive person test.
Oh my God.
HS person.
I need to remember that.
And there's about 25, 27 questions. And if you answer more than 17 in the affirmative, you are strongly HSP. And what Dr. Elaine Aron, the psychologist who coined the term, she said it's genetic.
Wow.
She said you are born with this trait. And they are even finding signs in the womb of how we are being impacted by what's happening with our maternal environment and the relationship between the parents. So I took the test and I got like out of 25, 26 questions, I got like 22 or 21 yes. And I was like, whoa, this is extreme.
Wow.
And then I went to an HS person meetup group. And the leader of the group is a local therapist. And she said, you identified as an introvert, but when Dr. Elaine Aron read that book, Quiet, she identified many of those traits of introversion as identical to the traits of a highly sensitive person. Identical.
So it's a retraction for protection.
For protection and just a sensitivity. I'm watching a video now, Highly Sensitive, the movie, and it's on YouTube for free. I just started watching it last night. But depth of processing is one of the hallmark traits, and how a highly sensitive person will walk into a room and like, boom, assess. And part of it is, yes, for safety, like, hey, scoping it out. Am I safe? What do I need to do to make the situation safer? And it's actually a trait that's found in animals as well. Dogs, cats, monkeys. They found it in, researchers are finding it across the board.
So you have a special connection with animals.
I do.
I mean, you
Deep.
love them.
I love animals.
And I didn't realize that that's part of it, is that you identify with that tender sensitivity and the innocence with that, and being so subject to a world that is so caustic to our everything, our emotional bodies, our mental, physical, spiritual. So the big question for me, and if you guys are in the chat, let us know if you know an HSP or if you are one. I would like to know, because this is just, it so befits the Queen of Clubs archetype. How have you adapted? What are some, like what's one thing that you as an HSP experience that gets misinterpreted by people? Something that is misunderstood that's just really primary for you, like a need that you have of some kind, and then how have you adapted yourself to this planet?
Oh, wow. A need that I have that I feel has been misinterpreted.
Mm-hmm.
And this may be an HSP thing. It may just be more reflective of my traumatic childhood. And that's being seen, being acknowledged, and being seen. And it was said to me the words, "You're too sensitive. You're too sensitive." As a child, that came to me from my mother and probably other people in my life, because I would shake and cry when there was injustice, especially about animals.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes, big.
Because maybe you were tuning into their experience and you didn't know you were feeling their suffering. And you're an empath.
Very
Would you
much.
describe yourself
Yes,
as an empath?
very much. Which I think HSP and empath go hand in hand, because the highly sensitive will, like I said earlier, read the environment, read the people, what do you need? And then there comes the Enneagram 2, meeting others' needs. So meeting my mother's needs, because she wasn't meeting mine. So maybe if I meet her needs, she will take care of me. It's a survival. So I'm not sure I totally answered your question, Paula, but my healing very recently, as I've literally just about a year ago discovered who my mom really is, and being the only one of her children who has a relationship with her. She birthed 4 and she has 2 stepchildren, and none of them are speaking to her except me.
1 out of 6.
1 out of 6. Yeah, that's right. And I will continue, because I now can see clearly, and I can hold a pretty good boundary. So my, it all kind of goes together. The highly sensitive, the empath, the 2 in the Enneagram. I can see how that all came together. Now the Queen of Clubs, because this is Kismet channel. Paula has shared with me that I am supposed to, maybe that's not the word, but evolve into, and there's a spade that I'm supposed to progress to at some point in my life. Is there like an age where that happens? You said there's some time in my life where I'm going to exhibit more spade energy. Do you remember sharing that with me? That there was. Is it that what you shared with me here, the ascension?
Mercury, Venus, Mars, your Jupiter. Okay, your Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter and Neptune cards are spades.
Right.
Plus Saturn plus card. I would say that well, it wouldn't be something that you're coming into like kind of around this point in your life, but the fact that your planetary ruler is a 10 of spades. I
think what you said.
It's been a huge asset
for me, right?
Because of the incredibly tender, sensitive. Yeah, and the 3 of Hearts karma card under that is like a negative ion where it's always seeking and reaching, and there's kind of a dynamic potential insecurity about that. And then the 4 of Hearts that sits under the 10 of Spades is more foundational and clear and I don't know, I think more inherently I observe you as being capable of making yourself feel safe. Like you just walk into a room and you are contained within your own skin. Were you always like that?
No. Is that a 10 of Spades quality?
Yeah. Hi, Jeannie. How are you doing?
Oh, good. We have a couple people talking in the chat.
Glad you're here.
They're both 5s.
Aw.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. So I don't remember doing that when I was younger. I think that's something that I've just developed. That ability to create a safe space for myself in a room.
Right.
I would say maybe in the last 10, 12 years. Maybe after my divorce, when I took a stand in this, again, a relationship with a narcissist of 17-year marriage. And when I made the decision, wait, I really do matter, and I'm losing myself to such a degree here that, as my spiritual teacher said, if you stay in this marriage, you will die. Literally, that was his exact word, die. And I said, oh, do you mean die spiritually? And he said, well, that for sure. But no, I mean like create something in your body where you will leave the planet.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, because it is so he didn't use the word toxic, but that's what it was. And I was losing myself so much there. So when I took a stand with him and said, no more, I'm leaving. And it was actually at age 48, I was told by an astrologer that I was moving, my progressed sun was moving into Scorpio.
Oh, power.
Yeah.
And he's April 23rd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his planetary ruler is April 23rd is Gemini. No,
he's a Taurus.
Taurus. Okay, Seven of Spades. So his planetary ruler is the Seven of Spades, and I could see him. I nicknamed it the righteousness card.
Oh yeah.
So it's like this is the right way to do things, and there was just this hyper control in your life, which was familiar. Like
it was familiar.
This is love.
Absolutely.
This person loves me because they want to control me.
Both Taurus, both my husband, ex-husband, and my mother, Taurus, and both 8s in the Enneagram.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. They say you marry your parents.
Marry your parents.
I big time. I mean,
my God, that's so huge. Which then goes into the spiritual path. So what I figured out about the Queen of Clubs and Jeannie, I'll read your comment in a second, and thank you so much for interacting. But I figured out real early on in my study of the cards that the Queen of Clubs, and I don't know where I got this, they have to adopt a spiritual path in order to really, I don't know, be successful, figure it out, contain themselves, protect themselves. There's something about them having to adopt a spiritual path.
Wow.
And you did.
I did.
She found her deal.
A Course in Miracles.
And how old were you when that happened?
First, do we want to read these?
Yes. Jeannie says, Queen of Clubs are great writers. They tend to doubt themselves earlier in life. They learn to trust their intuition and their inner voice, and that changes everything.
Gee, yeah, that's so true.
Especially the Virgin one. So it's called the Mother Mary card. She is a Virgo, and there's a very strong mercurial influence on the Queen of Clubs anyway. So Michelle is kind of like the quintessential Queen of Clubs with all the Mercury and the Virgo and the Virgin, as you say. That is so powerful to invoke that energy. The Virgin one, because they tend to be very critical of themselves. But self-love, awareness, and self-knowledge are game changers.
Thank you, Jeannie. So true. And I'm
the Virgo one.
I'm 63. I'm going to be 64 on my next birthday. And I have to say that self-love and self-awareness really took a quantum leap in the last year since I discovered more about my mom. But it started really at 48 when I decided I can't do this marriage, and it doesn't really matter what the world, his family, my family, whatever. Although my family totally supported me. But I was kind of like, I don't really care at this point because there's a part of me dying here. So I have to leave. And then that was when it started. I mean, at 48, I shouldn't judge, but it seems kind of old to be starting to learn how to love yourself.
48.
Truly love yourself.
48 is the 9 of Spades. The Death card.
Wow. Goosebumps.
Yeah, and that's when I had my repressed memory and menopause. Boom, like,
wow.
It was like transform or die.
That's right. Yep, that's exactly right.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're learning so much about each other.
We're learning so much. And then she says, I meant the Virgo one, LOL. Yeah.
Right.
The Virgo. Okay.
And I think it's very significant that you invoked the
Virgin.
Because the archetype of the Virgin is
whole unto herself.
Ooh.
That's what my friend Lee, who's a master astrologer, said. That's the pinnacle of development of Virgo is whole unto herself.
These guys are both astrologers, so Ronnie, you're going to have to weigh in on this too. They're my master astrologers.
Yay.
They're both geniuses.
Yay.
But so The Inner Sky is an astrology book that I got years ago that is, to me, the quintessential, because he just goes into like the essence and paints these pictures of each one of the signs. And because I'm Virgo rising, this meant so much to me. It said, like, I read the whole chapter and wept, and I read it to Julie Fair, who's a Cancer but has Virgo something,
Mhm.
Virgo moon, I think, and she also was like, oh my gosh, that's a game changer, but it describes us as our own work of art.
Mm.
The perfecting is the perfecting of self.
Mm.
And when that is done with self-love, because then it becomes an offering to the rest of the world. We're service oriented.
Yeah.
Oh, just got the chills again.
You. Yes. Mamma mia. Oh.
Mamma mia. Are you Italian?
No. I am Polish 100%.
Okay, so forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So the Queen of Clubs they've got some whammies going on. Okay, so they do have Ace of Spades in Jupiter, which means going it alone, defining their individuality, tapping into their ability to see beyond the veil, the spiritual side, is a boon to them. It's expansive to them and also career supporting and financially helpful.
Thank you for that.
Right? But the karma card to this is the Seven of Hearts, which is betrayal and betrayal.
Betrayal by
Past life betrayal.
Mm.
So you will be, that's like the lotus growing in the mud.
Yeah.
This Ace of Spades is the lotus that grew out of the past life betrayal. But then guess what? You get to meet that person again or meet up with the betrayal again in Saturn. That's your Saturn return. So the Queen of Clubs has Seven of Hearts in Saturn, means they will be betrayed. Your second Saturn return at 59. We could go into that, or at 28. 28 to 35, there may have been this betrayal experience, but oh my gosh. So it becomes this, it helps you to knit together and craft yourself.
Okay.
This process of forgiveness and having to go deep. Plus, one more before we go into Course in Miracles, the Jack of Hearts. I know you guys can't see this, it's way too far away, but you guys already know this. The Jack of Hearts is your Pluto. Jack of Hearts is the Christ card, and it means making some sort of sacrifice, having to go through ego death, really needing to find your spiritual purpose. It usually indicates some kind of massive pain that you have to go through. Seven of Hearts and Jack of Hearts, and you have them. One is twice and the other.
Oh my.
So that's one reason we connect so profoundly, is that you've had to dig really deep to say, I'm going to be okay with this. I'm going to figure out a way to just be in grace. I mean, that's how I see you, is just like, you're like Jackie Kennedy.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so I want
you.
I want to have you talk about that whole forgiveness and letting go, and I know that has to do with Course in Miracles too.
So, A Course in Miracles, I first heard of it when I was 19, going to college, and I was home on a weekend and with my dad, and my stepmom had the books on her bookcase in the guest bedroom where I was staying, and I was like, huh, what's this? And pulled off this big dark blue volume that was like this thick, and I opened it and I was like, whoa, and I closed it. There was a part of me that said, not ready, just like not now, not yet, but that was my first intro. And then at age 23, when I was working as a nurse, also helper, right, helping profession, from nursing to massage, and I was working as a psych nurse, and I received a brochure in the mail for the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies in upstate New York. And because I was a member of the American Holistic Nursing Association, so I got this. I was on the mailing list. So I got this brochure, I open it up, and there's all these offerings, like the Zen of Tennis and, Tantra for lovers. I mean, there's all these different courses and vegan cooking classes, and there was A Course in Miracles. And so there it was again 4 years later, and I said, okay, now's the time. And I took the class, flew to New York, took this class at this beautiful place. Omega Institute's beautiful, in the Hudson River Valley in upstate New York. So I started with it then. I went much deeper in my 30s. So I started with it then, and it was kind of on and off, and I didn't really know what it was saying. And even Ken, was my teacher for many years, Ken Wapnick, said, really, when you're up until about 30 and maybe 40, when you are developing a sense of I, a sense of identity, and ego, is not really the time that you would go into a course which says you don't exist.
Right. Because you're trying to find
that you do exist. And
Yeah.
the course is basically saying, no, you as a separate entity do not exist, because there's only oneness. So it's a non-dual teaching. It's close to Hindu Advaita Vedanta. So it's like there is the truth, there is non-duality, and then there is the illusion duality. So the course is written on that, that level. But as Ken used to say so beautifully, there's level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is there's the truth, there's the non-duality, and then there's the illusion, i.e. this world and everything in physical form. If it is not eternal, unchanging, there's like 3 qualities or something to this truth. Everything here changes. Nothing here is eternal. It's ephemeral. So there's these qualities which indicate that it's true. But Ken says, but that doesn't mean that the course won't meet you where you are. And so that is, no, I believe I'm here. I believe I'm a separate body. And that's where forgiveness, the whole teaching of forgiveness is. And that's the goal of the course is peace, which is forgiveness. Now, what is forgiveness? According to the course, which has helped me so much. It helped me in my marriage, because it's realizing that what you're seeing outside of you that triggers you. If it doesn't trigger you, you don't have a judgment about it, it's not something you need to forgive. If you are triggered by anything or anyone, it is reflecting back some aspect of yourself that you have not forgiven. So that is where we are grateful to our brother and sister for showing us a part of ourselves that has not been healed. So the Christian, nothing against Christianity, because you and I love that whole concept, maybe not the religion, but Christianity is more like, you did this wrong and now I forgive you. In my elevated state, there's maybe sometimes a little bit of that, like I am more evolved because I will forgive you. The course is, when you say forgiveness, it's realizing you're forgiving what never happened. Because yes, the person shot you or shot your child or whatever heinous thing, or insulted you or cut you off in traffic. Yeah. Yes, informed that happened. But they did not take the peace of God away from you. Oh. That is the core. Because you gave your peace away. You got me. You made me mad. Why did you cut me off? You son of a whatever. Right. You are in that moment giving your peace away and saying, oh, the peace of God isn't that important to me. But this son of a bitch who just cut me off, he's the guilty one. Right. God, get him, not me. Yeah. That the course is a lot about thinking that we can free ourselves from our guilt by projecting it onto someone else. Right. So the Buddhist phrase, inviolable essence, would resonate. Yes. Where you maintain that equanimity and you don't, it's not like you say, oh, well, you shot my dog, my child. I mean, something terrible. It's not that, but it's realizing that there is either an act of love, an expression of love, or a call for love. That's how the Holy Spirit interprets everything that goes on here. So if someone is yelling at you, our ego will interpret it. They're angry. They're yelling at me. I'm a separate being from them. But of course, the miracles would say that person is disconnected from love. And in their fear and agony and terror of being separated from everything, like from oxygen, they, in their terror, and like if you really get into that, you just have so much compassion. It's like, in their terror, they are acting in a way that is mildly annoying or, totally unconscionable. But again, I'm not there, especially if it involves something, really severe. But if it's an insult, like when my ex-husband would, when we were married, if he would do something, say something, I would not mentally, but literally go in my heart and say, how is he calling for love here?
Wow.
And not that you don't set a boundary. Oh, no. It's not being a pushover.
Right.
You set a boundary. And sometimes Ken used to say, when they were talking about extreme examples, like there was some shooter that at the time when I was in a workshop, there was some shooter killing a bunch of people. And then a police officer killed him. And Ken said that was the greatest act of love. It's not like the Course never talks about behavior, only about the content or the, what the mind, what you're thinking, what is the content of your mind, much more so than the behavior.
Right, right. What's really at the root of that action?
Right.
What motivated it? And you
it.
get down to you go to the anger, the victimhood, the injustice,
all the way down to
anger, fear.
Fear is at the root.
Yeah, pain and fear. Fear is always at the root. I am afraid that I am separate and will not get my needs met.
Yes. In fact, one of the times when I had goosebumps from head to toe, I might cry when I share the story. I went to a workshop in Denver, and it was this beautiful Black man. I'm trying to think of his name, Earl Purdy, Purdy, Course in Miracles teacher. I don't even know if he's still alive. But he was doing this workshop, and he was talking about forgiveness. And he said, when someone is angry, and he did a demo, and everyone in the class was like shaking because he was a big guy. He says, when someone's angry, they're saying, love me, love me, love me. Like, show me that I'm wrong about who I think I am right now.
Oh my God.
Show me by your demonstration that what I'm doing isn't taking the peace away from you. You are still demonstrating Jesus' love in this moment by not letting me, this angry tyrant, take your peace.
Yeah.
There's a line in the Course that says, teach not that I died in vain. Teach rather that I did not die by demonstrating that I live in you. Yeah. So that's what we do for each other when true forgiveness. We demonstrate that the sin that you did to me, committed, has had no effect.
Yes, and I want to ask how you did that with your husband, because obviously your husband was the workshop that you were involved in, that you had to practice it. You got to practice it over and over. Jeannie said, I have a hard time understanding any of it. I know now the problem is I don't know how to forgive myself. I was taught to pay for my sins, not to truly forgive myself, much less others. So, wow, I'd be curious to hear what the Course has to say about self-forgiveness. The Queen of Clubs in my life are very forgiving, but it takes time, and they understand that you can let go and not forget, per se. They mirror that part of myself that I need to work on. Everyone is a mirror for everyone else. Oh, isn't that the truth? Yeah, so let's talk about self-forgiveness a little bit, because that's right at the core of this. And I would imagine that your mother and the Catholic school that you went to kind of offered you the belief that if anything's wrong, it's your fault.
Pretty much. I don't remember the church or the school so much, that teaching. It may have been there, like implied. I don't really have a memory of like, oh, that's why I said earlier that I didn't like have this Catholic guilt trip. Like
you had really nice nuns.
I had nice, beautiful, wonderful teachers
who really carried the spirit within them.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and then as far as my mom, there was a lot of verbal abuse. So yeah, I mean, guilt is feeling I did something wrong, right? Shame is I am bad.
Yeah.
I am wrong. So I know there was a lot of that. So I was very, very lacking confidence, totally insecure growing up. Totally. I mean, not a popular girl.
You got left out.
Got left out. And I was in National Honor Society. I did the academic excelling. But, I had a few friends, but I was definitely not one of the popular girls.
Yeah.
And, not a cheerleader for sure. But yeah, so the self-forgiveness, I think, again, that's probably been recent. I mean, even though I went to the Course at age 23, but I don't think I really, really got it until my 30s, because I was in and out, picked it up, put it down, picked it up, put it down for probably 10. And I went into a lot of New Age teachings at that time. So I wasn't, for probably from about 23 to about 36, 34, 35, 36. It's when I started picking it up again. And then I think really just studying with Ken and really doing the lessons and really, so self-forgiveness to respond, Jeannie. Yeah. So that for me, I'm thinking of a recent session I had with a life coach, and she said that a good exercise for me, maybe for everyone actually, is to go into the mirror like every time you go to the bathroom. So every time you pee, every time you go brush your teeth, and look in the mirror and put your hands on your face, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are innocent and you are worthy.
Oh.
And I did it for a while, and then I forgot. And then knowing we were going to do this today, I thought, I need to do that because it's very deep. So how many of us really feel innocent and really feel worthy?
Right.
So self-forgiveness is, I think it's a lifelong practice.
And maybe kind of instead of forgiveness, like I'm loving you instead of indicting you for that thing that you're actually guilty of. Forgiving the self maybe is more about getting in touch with your essential innocence. This is a term that I've come up with by working with the Ridwan School. So like your essential inviolability, your inviolable essence. There's also an essential innocence, which means I was always coming from a place of trying to make it feel better. And even people who do really heinous things, they're trying to make it feel better. Yeah, and they're working with a lie, and so there's a lot of distortion and stuff. But to see the original intention deep within yourself, really, it's all about, I'm just trying to reconnect with God. I'm trying to find love. I might be doing it in some really terrible ways, but that's kind of how I think about self-forgiveness, is just getting down in there and listening to myself tell my story from my side of the fence.
The other thing is realizing in every moment, everyone, including and maybe especially yourself, is doing the best we can with what we have.
Yeah.
The resources we have, the bandwidth we have, the environment. I mean, everyone, if we can extend so much grace to ourselves and each other, if we realize, really, if I could have done it better, I would have. I really would have. And I had a boyfriend recently, and we had this conversation a couple of years ago, where he asked me, do you have any regrets about anything from your past?
What a question.
And he had a lot of regrets, which explains very well, as Eckhart Tolle says, depression, which he dealt with, is too much past. Anxiety and fear is too much future. So he lived with remorse and regret and dealt with depression. I, on the other hand, was more on the anxious side of that spectrum and fear about the future. So probably because of my childhood and just like not having needs met, and a lot of anxiety in this nervous system, a lot of dysregulation. So I said to him, no, I don't. He was like incredulous. How can that be? And I said, when I think back, I mean, there's a couple things. It's like, I wish I hadn't done that, but I don't like actually say I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that was a bad choice. Because I not just believe, I know that I was doing the best I could with what I had, with who I was, that young Michelle of 22 or 30, or when I married my husband. The day I got married, and I've heard this so many times from so many women since I've shared this, that I knew I was making a mistake on my wedding day. I'm like, this is not going to work. And yet we were together for 17 years.
Right.
And we had a daughter, and that's the main
Mhm.
reason, I believe.
I feel so strongly that when we have that feeling of this is a mistake, it's our higher self or some more aligned part of us that just says this is out of alignment with the truth. But the lower self, the human self, says, I need to take this journey to unwind this lie.
Yes. And if it wasn't for this man in my life pushing me as an 8 in the Enneagram, and whatever you said his card was,
Jack of
Jack
clubs and 7 of spades.
and right, push, 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 for me to finally rise up and say, no more. You will not violate me. You will not verbally abuse me. I'm leaving. I'm taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure many of you have heard about, whether it's a metaphor or true, that before we incarnate, we have like a soul council, and like everyone that's significant in this life is there.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother, your father, your partners, your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You have this sitting council. It's like, well, I'm going to do this when you're 14, and I'm going to do this, and it's going to teach you this. And
Mm-hmm.
so whether that's true, I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but when I look at my relationship with this man, it was a lot of me hiding in the beginning, especially with his family, because his family thought I was something other than what I was. Yes, and David never told them. He just let them believe that I was of the same, I'll just say, fundamentalist bent,
Right.
And because I live very Christ-like, and Jesus is my teacher and my brother and my confidant, and the closest being
Mm-hmm.
in my life, in my world, in this life, I was able to blend in.
Right.
And I didn't make waves. It's like, I'm not going to make waves.
Right.
And
so to make a declaration to say, I'm actually over here in this camp,
mm-hmm.
was so incredibly risky.
Yes.
And to be able to say that to the narcissism, we won't even attach it to a person.
Right.
But to say to the abusive narcissism that said, you're not okay as you are, you're only okay insofar as you're of use to me. Mm-hmm. And you mold yourself to what I need you to be, and to be able to say, no, I don't align with that anymore. What an opportunity to come to that beautiful clarity. Okay, so I told Michelle I wanted to explore those 2 questions about forgiveness and the highly sensitive person, but I also asked her, and I realized that we're 47 minutes.
We're 47.
Okay.
We're not even an hour yet.
We'll just keep going. I also told her to come up with, and if any of you want to be interviewed, this is what I will present you with, is come up with 3 questions you want me to ask you, because every journey is just so precious. And it's like, and I just want to tell everybody, we want the dirt. The dirt is the best part. Everyone is the most interested about how you fell into that hole.
Fell into the hole.
Not how you figured it out. Like, we want the whole preamble, how you got all muddy and bruised and hated everybody and stuff like that. But anyway, so I asked Michelle to come up with those 3 questions, and I don't know if we're going to cover them also. And there's also something that we really want to talk about at the end. So I'm just going to turn it over to you. And where do you want to go at the moment?
Well, what would be, for people who know that this is Kismet channel and they want to learn more about
the Queen of Clubs?
Yeah.
Also the 10 of Spades.
Okay, why don't you kind of like, many years ago, I was on an Enneagram panel with a therapist here in town who was, all of her psychotherapy was around the Enneagram.
Yeah.
And she called these panels, and she would call like all the 1s, and they would all the 2s. And in this group, there are probably 30 of us in this group.
I've dreamt of doing that with the cards.
It was fabulous, because you would sit in the audience and you would listen to like maybe a panel of 3 or 4 of that particular. It was amazing in that group. We had at least 3 of every number. And when the 8s got up, because my ex-husband is an 8, when the 8s got up, and I was still married at the time, and I was hearing them talk, and the therapist would ask them questions, and then the audience would ask questions, and then we all got to know so much more about that type. And that is another reason why I stayed in the marriage as long as I did, because and David would say, well, I can't help it. I'm an 8. So it's just like, well, that's just what I do. That's what 8s do,
Right.
And so you could ask me as a Queen of Clubs, or if you all 4 of you, if anyone has a question for Queen of Clubs, I could just answer from my heart, from my experience.
And I also, good, we have Astropus. Hey, what's up?
What's up, Q Club?
Guess who that is?
Who is that?
That's Dr. Sue.
Dr. Sue!
Met.
We met on a call, like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
Paula? I met you, Dr. Sue. So glad you're here. Yay, another Queen of Club is in the house.
Yes.
Yay.
Well, I have a question for you as a 10 of spades because they're so rare, and it is your planetary ruler. Yes.
Okay, that's my planetary ruler, which I don't know what that means. You card people.
And I want, okay, I was also thinking we could talk about how do you relate to being Jupiter, which is expand. Mm-hmm. And that goes along with the 10 of spades, feeling like the card of ultimate success is how it's been described. It's
the 10 of spades?
Yeah, it's Stewart's in my composite relationship card, which means what I have discovered is that your composite it's your job to learn what success is. And so I would throw that question back to you and say, how do you define success?
Well, I would definitely not put it in worldly terms. So this may go back to what you said a little bit ago before the other Queen of Clubs joined us about the spiritual. I don't remember if that was a Queen of Clubs thing, Paula, or you said that I would go into the spiritual.
Yes, I think that Queen of Clubs have to adopt a spiritual path early on in life.
Yes.
To be this guiding force to inform them about all the incredibly challenging stuff.
All the challenging stuff okay. So with that as a backdrop, because of the trauma of my childhood, which I was mostly unconscious of. I mean, there was until recently, but a lot of it I was conscious of, like through high school. I would go out of, I think I would leave my body and think a lot about what's going to happen in the afterlife. Would just be like, spend a lot of time out there.
Really?
A lot of time looking at the stars and wondering from whence I came, and having little invisible friends as a child. I had a little friend called the Whisper. And it was this little, like, almost like a dandelion, fluff that I felt was with me.
Oh, yes. My gosh.
So I adapted to the incredible pain. First of all, really putting on a happy face, because that's what was rewarded by my mother. It's like in my childhood pictures, smile, so like this strained, pained look on so many of my photos as a child. But as I got into my 20s, it was diving into metaphysics, diving into the there was a course by Patricia Diane Cota-Robles.
Oh yeah.
And I was living in Tucson going to college, and there was a flyer, The New Age Study of Man's Purpose. I was like 19. I'm like, and I'd spent all my time in like the metaphysical bookstores.
And she, whenever we talk about, have you heard of this person or that person? I mean, Michelle's, yep. We go way back.
We go back. I know that person.
Right.
Wayne Dyer. I listened to Wayne Dyer a lot. Read his books.
He's your karma card.
Oh, he's my karma card.
He's
okay.
10 of diamonds.
Oh gosh, cool.
Yeah.
So back to the question about success. So tying this in, the spirituality, and just like, okay, there's a bigger picture here.
We live in the spiritual and tolerate the mundane unapologetically. Oh, right on, Dr. Sue.
I love that, Dr. Sue. I love that, because I do put that spin on so many things. Okay, this is really very intimate. And I guess that's what we do. We just open up. We're on YouTube. Anybody could see this. It's like, whoever's listening from the other side. I mean, Paula and I felt like when we were at her house and it wasn't happening, Paula says, we have so much energy and power together. Something may be trying to stop us.
Because our composite together is the 10 of diamonds. When we add her composite with my composite, it's the 10 of diamonds. And I was like, oh, we're putting out a huge broadcast signal right now. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the intimate.
So the intimate piece is, I just listened to a podcast with Dr. Lindsay, who did I just say? Gibson, who wrote Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. Okay. And she says that this child in this family setting, in this family constellation, with that much of an unhealthy influence from the caregiver, denies their feelings.
Oh yeah.
Total. And I was told by an astrologer when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, you intellectualize your feelings and you emotionalize your thoughts, and you don't know what's coming and going. Yeah.
That's just huge. Everything you just said.
And as a child, don't cry. I mean, that was like, getting smacked sometimes, but mostly it was the verbal abuse. And, you will put on a happy face. You will make it look like we have a great family, and so just holding it together tight. So what I heard on this podcast today with Dr. Lindsay Gibson is as a therapist, she says how challenging it is to work with these adult children of a narcissist, is getting them to feel what they felt when they were 3 and 4 and 10. And she says when she asks, what did you feel? Most of her clients have no clue. No clue.
Yeah.
So when I feel deeply, especially sadness, it's usually not about me. It's about someone else. It's empathetic. It's the animals. It's the whales. It's the forests being burned.
And it makes sense that you would develop that, because it's like a release valve for your own pain to become even more empathic and more tuned in, because it's like, whoa, I just cried about that whale and I feel so much better.
Yes. And that's why I love movies like Whale Rider, one of my favorites.
Jeannie says, I think it would be interesting in noting what kinds of health issues the cards experience, enough data, and we can perhaps see correlations. Yeah, that's a really good one.
In the future, about what systems are stronger. Okay, and then
yes,
Dr. Sue
because
says,
and the nervous system of Queen of Clubs is really a thing that needs to be taken care of. Dr. Sue, success is our daily routine. When we step into our power, there is nothing we can't accomplish. Most Queen of Clubs fear the power that they have and become people pleasers.
Oh, goosebumps, Dr. Sue. That's like, and that is the story of the child of a emotionally immature, is the people pleasing.
Right, and the fear of your power.
Because what if I become more powerful than the mother?
Right, she's not gonna like that. And
she won't like that. I won't survive. She'll kick me out. She'll devour me. Whoa.
Well, and I have to throw in there the 10 of Spades. Okay, so in the spiritual spread, the 10 of Spades is right here in Neptune. Neptune is all about escapism, dissociation, the spiritual realm, not really being here.
That's my success card? My karma card.
That's your planetary ruler.
Okay.
I'm learning the terminology.
My planetary ruler. Escape? There's some escapism.
Oh, totally. But I find that star seeds who have had trauma have they learn how to dissociate, but really it becomes this talent and ability and skill to become more psychic. It develops their psychic side. There are a lot of other words we could put to this, but the intuition, the sensitivity, the healing, and it's like we've come here, I think, largely to heal. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was very interesting, talking about your success card in particular, not even knowing about that Neptune influence, but it propelled you into those realms, which would become the lens through which you would understand deeply the nature of what had been happening to you and who you were in that context and who it's been your sovereign purpose to become. So the Queen of Spades, okay, so she's a personality card for you as a spade female. The Queen of Spades she sits in the pinnacle position. She's this penultimate energy. She's the life coach. She takes full responsibility for everything she's manifested in her life. She is sovereignty and humility, and you are embodying that.
And how does that relate to my card again?
Because you're also the 10 of spades. Right. You look to the personality cards to get more a sense of what are your archetypes, and the Queen of Spades
is
your
my
archetype.
Personality archetype.
Yeah.
So back to that question 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Success. So, and I really appreciate Dr. Sue's insights here. So in the spiritual, we tolerate the mundane. It really feels that way, Dr. Sue, and I'd love to hear more from you. But one of the reasons I love this woman, and she's my bestie. We've been together so many lifetimes.
Yeah.
Is that I feel so safe and seen and held and not judged, like one of the few, if not only, person in my life. And Paula and I have been very similar in terms of this surrendering of the mundane. Like, I don't know if you've shared your story about your recent issues around your home and moving and all of that, right?
Know all about
you guys know all about that. And I have a similar story in terms of from the time of my divorce in 2012 until now, 13 years later, I have had many years of housing insecurity. Like, I'm told by who I'm living with, usually renting a room in a house and, paying a very small rent or trading for my rent, and being told, oh, next month we're renovating, we're redoing that room, or I'm getting I have my daughter coming, she's moving, whatever. So that kind of upending was happening over and over from about 2012 until about 2019. And I moved, I don't know, I counted 15 times in those few years. And it was always a trust walk, always. It was like when people would say, where are you going to move? I would say, it has yet to be revealed. It's like, I'm just trusting. So what did she say?
Oh, Ace of Spades is my planet. So Dr. Sue is so we share that base chakra insecurity and having to find your safety in the divine.
The divine.
You don't have a choice, or you're a nervous wreck and you can't function.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Dr. Sue has the same?
No, she's a Sagittarius, which means her Jupiter card is her planetary ruler. She's December 6th.
Okay.
Ace of Spades is my planetary ruler, and
baby? I don't know.
The secrets and them download are enough to scare a weak Queen of Clubs. I love her too. She's hugging you too. So the Ace of Spades is all the secrets and being able to see beyond the veil and that kind of thing. And it's like you get supercharged with secrets that are beyond the veil, and can you handle that? And I know a lot of male Queen of Clubs who implode, who cannot handle that because men have not been taught to feel their feelings, and to have the skillfulness around emotional healing is absolutely necessary for Queen of Clubs to become who they're supposed to be. And I know somebody who has taken it in the absolute opposite direction, and I would call him bordering on sociopathic, because he's completely blocked himself off from all the pain. And I think that he had some really serious trauma and abuse very early in life, and then he passed that on to someone else I care about at age 13. And then I think he kept doing those sorts of things, fill in the blanks, you know what I'm talking about, and just this continual abuse and extraction of value from other people. And I think always trying to answer that need of feeling fundamentally not safe.
Yeah. So now, very recently, at age 63, almost 64, realizing that I absolutely must, and not only must, but I am able to give this to myself for the first time. Like, I can take care of this child. I manifest situations with landlords, for example, of my mother right there, the